Hi, welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today we're here at my friend Frank's garage. We're going to be doing some work to this Corvette of his. He has a side window that got chipped pretty bad with a rock. So we're going to be filling that with some resin and getting it fixed. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so coming here, and it's here on this Corvette. We come here, see if I can get a close up. You can see right here. Here's a close up of the glass. You can see that it looks like a rock came down. Hit there, scratched here. So we're going to try to fill all that. That way this window doesn't have to be replaced. So I'm cleaning this glass here. We want to prep it real good, but this is a 2016 Z06 Corvette. But just want to get this nice and cleaned up real good. But I'm going to show you the product that we're going to use. I have a Rain-X windshield repair kit, and then we have a UV light that we're going to use on that to help cure it. But let me show you what we're going to be using, and then we'll come back here and start prepping this. For this video, what I'm going to be using is this Rain-X windshield repair kit. This one here is actually rated pretty good. I believe in the top 10 best automotive glass repair kits, because there's a lot of them out there. These resin kits for fixing cracks and chips in windshields and windows. This one actually ranks very high, so that's what we're going to be using in this video. What I also have here is a UV flashlight. You can just take the car out into sunlight, let it sit out there for about 30 minutes, but then you're relying on it to be a sunny day, and you're relying on wasting half an hour. If you use a UV light, you can speed up the process and cut it down to about 10 or 15 minutes, and you're not at the mercies of the outside sunlight being bright enough to do it. So this is what we're going to be using in order to fix this windshield here on Frank's car. And if we flip this over here, here's the instructions right here on how to, like just the basics right here. It goes over what the kit is and just kind of an overview. On the inside are the detailed instructions that we're going to be taking a look at as we start this process. Here's a look of all the contents in the pack all taken out. In addition, we're also going to be using this pit polish by Glassweld and also one of their polishing corks to give the final shine once the resin properly dries. All right, let's open this up. So we have our instruction sheet here. We have our applicator here, right there, and then we have our little bottle of resin. Let's take all this out, and then let's open this up and read it so we can have it prepped properly. And then since I'm using a UV light, we don't need to put it outside. If not, you're going to have to put it for about 30 minutes in direct sunlight to let it cure with the UV. Probably 10-15 minutes, but let's open this up and check it out. All right, so here's the instruction sheet. So here's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to remove any loose glass fragments, which on this vehicle does not have. And then you want to clean the area well with a towel, which as we saw, we already did that. So we're going to go right to step 2. We're going to get the chamber assembled right here. So you're going to screw the resin chamber into the center. So we're going to assemble all this, and then we'll go ahead and get it in place on the glass, and then we'll be back to start applying the resin into it. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to take the suction cup. We're going to line the center. We have a couple flaws here, a couple chips. So I'm going to do each one so we make sure everything is properly filled. So we're going to bring the camera in here up close. I'm going to line this up above each one, and then we'll apply the resin, and then we'll move it down to the next ones, and then we'll put the clear film over everything when it's done because of it being multiple ones. If you only have one chip or crack, then you're just going to put it over the one and center it, and then the applicator will then screw in and you'll feed the resin in that way. But let's bring it in here close, and I'll show you how we're going to do it. So I'm going to start up here. We're going to put it over this. All right, so we have the first one here, and you can see this is the worst one, but we're going to come down. So we have it here. We're going to put the little applicator in there with the resin. We'll fill that one, and then we'll move down to this one. And there's a close-up. You can see the first chip in the center there. Next, we're going to take the resin chamber. We're going to screw it in here, but you want to take it all the way until it rests right up against the surface where the chip is. That way we have a good contact, and then we can start filling it with resin. You don't want this to pop up, so we'll push that down. Make sure that The suctions are tight. Let's see if you can see it here. You want it resting right up against it like that. And now we can put the resin in here. Next, I'm going to put 3 to 6 drops of the resin repair in there. And then we're going to take the pressure piece. We're going to screw it all the way until it's tight to force it in. Then we're going to move it down and we're going to do the one under it and keep working our way down since we have multiple chips. And then once we're done, then we'll move on to the next stage. Looking in there, you can see the resin that we've dropped in. We put about 4 drops. You can see it all the way down in there. Next, we're going to take our pressure driver, screw that in until it's as tight as it will go. That way we know that it squeezed it all the way down. There we go. I'm going to give it a few seconds to force everything in, then we're going to move this down to the next chip. I'm going to do the exact same thing, so I'm not going to repeat myself. I'll be back once it's done so we can move on to putting on the clear film. All right, so we're removing this now. You can see a little bit of the resin. I actually spread a little bit more out because there's scratches everywhere. Let's see, bring it in closer. I put some extra drops of resin because of the scratches. So now we're going to bring in the curing strip. We're going to apply it on here. And we're going to spread this out. Probably get 2 of them because we have more going on here. And we're going to position those and then we'll be back. All right, so all of the curing strips are on. Looks like there might be some air bubbles minor, but we'll take a look when we're done. You can at that point take the car out into the sun, let it sit for 30 minutes to let the UV dry it and harden it. I'm just going to use a UV light right here. Give it about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to shine this on it for about 10 or 15 minutes to let this fully cure it, and then we'll be back to remove it and then move on to the next step. All right, so we're ready to take the curing film off. Didn't have a lot of luck with the UV light. So if you're using a UV light, it may work, it may not. It should cure it, but it was taking too long, so we wound up putting it out in direct sunlight. It was actually out for an hour, but if you do put it in sunlight, you want to make sure that it's, if you can, a bright direct sunlight right on it to let it properly harden. So let's get the camera here close. We're going to peel these curing strips off, see how it looks. Then we'll take the razor blade and then clean it up. This one was just a little spot there, so that wasn't major, but let's remove this one now. Because this is the one where I spread it out to fill all the cracks. Let's see. Okay, it's a little bit, yeah, it's kind of stuck on here. It is, but yeah, we'll gotta be careful not to pull off the resin. Well, actually, the resin is pretty hard. Oh yeah, it's it's tight in there because if you're pulling it off and it's still got some wetness, then you got to put it back out in the sunlight or use the UV at that point. But that looks good. So now we'll take the blade and just clean it up and see what happens. And here's the surface. You can see all the resin, but I caked it up to fill everything. So now we're just going to scrape that down to the glass and see how that looks. Just want to take your time. Don't want to pull any resin out of the flaws. Yeah. And I don't think it'll scratch your window because it's just coming down on an angle, but I mean, it is coming up. It's coming up? It is, yeah. Oh, I can't see it. Yeah, that whole corner right there came off. All right, now this top one came off very good.
Wow.
However, I can see the flaw a little bit still, because that one I didn't.
You're staring at it and a foot away.
Yeah.
You know. I don't have the nerves to do that.
All right, that's coming off good too. And now I'm getting into the thicker part. So I'm removing the last piece here as we're shaving it down. You can see a little bit of a discoloration where it meets the glass, but that is completely smooth. We'll get some close-ups. Let me just clean a little bit more. All right, so right here you can see it. We filled the chip, but now you can see how it's not really shiny. You can see that scuff right there. And if we close the door, you can see it right there. Whoop. Now, if you're on a side angle, you don't see it, but right there you can. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some pit polish with a polishing cork, and we're going to get that sheen nice to match the window so it'll blend it better. And this is what it looks like, just a basic cork and then the polish. So we're going to put a drop on the resin, and then we're just going to take this and buff it real good to shine it up. Put a drop of it right here. In the two areas that we did it. And then just take this. All right, and now we'll do that. You can barely see it now.
That is amazing.
All of the
The little scratches are all gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because now it matches the shine of the glass.
Yes.
You can still see a little bit of something.
Yeah, but we're staring at it.
Yeah, but it's like, it doesn't have that haziness.
Yep.
Let me try opening the door. And it's right in that area. And then it's right here, so you don't see it like we did before as much. It's a little bit of an imperfection, but not like it had before. You can see a little bit right there, but not much. And back here you can see, perfect. And then if you come here on this side, same thing. All you're seeing is just the smooth, shiny surface of the glass and no indication of any flaws at all on it. All right, well, that wraps up this video then on how to fix a chip in your car window. You could also, as we mentioned earlier with this product, you can also do, if you have more of like a small spider web, you want to make sure that you prep it properly, clean it. And the main thing is that you get it filled in and that you really let it cure properly, whether you use the UV or the sunlight, and then just be patient. Take your time on a roughly a 90-degree angle, take the blade and just shave it down flush with the surface, but just be patient. You don't want to pull it out of there. But as we saw here, it turned out pretty good. So I hope that this video was informative for you and helped you out. Please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.